I'm Martin Toomey. I'm the Sustainability Manager at NHS Supply Chain. I actually worked for the Chamber of Commerce as a business advisor some time ago around supply chain and procurement. So the presentation today is about our organisation and our relationship with the NHS and give you an overview of us as an organisation and what we do, and then obviously if you're interested in becoming a supplier to the NHS, go to our website. There's becoming a new supplier. It's not, you know, you're not automatically a supplier. You have to tender for some work, so bear that in mind when you register. So back in 2018, we were part of the NHS supply chain, was part of the NHS, but we weren't mandated as the route to market. So the sort of benefits that we bring to our customers and suppliers is that obviously we channel back savings into the NHS, because obviously through aggregated spend we can put that activity. We're clinical services, so we clinically assure all the products, and we introduce new products into the NHS quicker than other routes to market. Obviously, we're this single point of a national framework agreements. We're a clear route to innovation for the NHS and for suppliers. Just go to the next slide, please, Leslie. So this is the sort of scale of the operation at the moment. As you see, obviously during COVID and pandemic, it's increased, but typically we deal with this on a regular basis. 8 million orders per year, 94,000 order points. So we typically have 7 regional distribution points, but like I say, during well, now and COVID, we've got quite a number of distribution points. We at the moment, yeah, you can go to the next slide, Leslie. It's okay. We at the moment are doing a push model with PPE, so any mask, gloves, and sort of PPE is being pushed to our customers. So that will end in April 2023. So yeah, we're a procurement organisation, but obviously we're a logistics organisation as well. So we typically deliver to the NHS 24/7, 6 days a week, and then we have out of our services, and we have obviously different routes to market. Move on, Leslie, please. So this is the sort of model of the way the products go into us. I mean, the important thing is the orange triangle there with the shopping basket, is that we go out to market quite regularly. So we put into the market called framework agreements. So those are typically large scale purchasing agreements to say that we over a 4-year cycle buy certain medical products and other products for the NHS on behalf of the NHS, store them, deliver them, and obviously work through our suppliers. We also have pandemic stocks as well, and clinically important stock. Obviously with COVID, that pandemic stock's different now, but it's still there and readily available. So if there's another pandemic, that stock will be used to support the UK in the preparation for COVID or any other pandemic that comes along. Just move on, please, Les. So priorities for the NHS and for us is obviously quality and safety of the product, a resilient supply chain, which is challenging at the moment. We're seeing supply disruption and supply chain disruption like everybody else in the UK at the moment for various reasons, lockdowns, freight, container issues. And sustainability is very important to us as an organisation, and obviously reduce costs to the NHS. We're seeing billions of pounds being saved through our route to market for the NHS, so that can go to frontline services and not just be based on procurement. Just move on, Leslie, please. So this is our business plan for last year, where resilience and sustainability were hardwired into our business plan to say, look, these are important things for us to do. So if you want to tender for any work with NHS Supply Chain, you've got to realise that high delivery percentage. I think our performance is 99% on-time deliveries, and that's a KPI that suppliers will get and have to keep. Also, in terms of sustainability, the NHS wants to be carbon neutral by 2045. So any supplier to the NHS will have to have a sustainability plan. Let's move on, Leslie, please. So this is where I'm talking about sustainability and being net zero. The NHS has put in place, and it's into the Health and Social Care Bill now as being a requirement to be net zero by 2045. So there's a couple of important milestones here at the moment. As of April this year, 10% of weighting of evaluation is given over to social value. That's around economic development, that's around employment, it's around supply chain, visibility and labour standards. So any of those themes can be brought into our procurement. The next one is the April next year, where the NHS requires anybody with a £5 million spend with the NHS has to have a carbon reduction plan and report it publicly. So I won't go through all the roadmap, but it's there so you can have a look at it. If you're an SME, you're exempt for a couple of years, but please bear in mind it will be coming over the horizon if you do want to be an NHS supplier, whether that's local or it's with us as an organisation. Let's move on, Leslie, please. It's quite a number of slides, so I want to give some time at the end of it for questions, if that's all right, Leslie. Yeah, this is our own sustainability plan. So labour standards, social value, and employee volunteering. It's very important to us. Waste and the circular economy, again, is an important theme to us. One of the biggest, I think, sort of societal things, as well as just for us, is single-use plastic. The amount of plastic generated by the NHS and bought by the NHS is enormous. So it's ways of us trying to reduce that impact on the environment. But obviously, again, during COVID and post-COVID, the amount of single-use plastics that came into the market was tremendous. We also are looking at carbon emissions and our own operations as well. Last year, we saved about 6,500 tonnes of carbon from our logistics operation. We've got another target set for this year as well, but like I said, the NHS itself wants to be net zero. That means carbon neutral in its supply chain by 2045. So it's a massive target. Can you move on, Leslie? I mean, the sort of NHS landscape is changing, or is about to change, with the integrated care systems. Don't know if you're aware of that, where the sort of social care and the NHS care are coming together. So social care is typically run by local government, so your local councils, and then you obviously have your NHS settings, but they've come together as an integrated care system. So we're going to see, and again, as a supplier, you're probably going to see regional agreements and regional activity, not just trust level activity. And the NHS itself has changed. They've now got a central commercial function within the organisation that's looking at commercial activities for the whole of the NHS around how it buys and how to be more efficient in the way it buys. So we're evolving, they're evolving, but predominantly the sort of procurement regulations are also evolving as well. So it's trying to make it more agile, but still remain sort of transparent and fair to people. Just move on, Leslie, please. This is the current model where we call them category towers. This is what the NHS supply chain actively buys at the moment. So there's 11 towers. So we do medical consumables, we do large diagnostic machines, we do business services, we do food, and then we have our supporting towers, which are logistics and technology. But those 11 towers you see then, the dark blue, the light blue, and the green is what we buy. So, like I say, office solutions, food, and there's a focus there on trying to get local food. But if you think about it, medical consumables is our main activity, and there's a variety of things there in those dark blue categories which we buy. Just move on, Leslie, please. So how we engage with the market, or how we engage with suppliers, typically it's through UK government tender portals, so tenders, contracts finder, tenders finder. We put prior information notices out to say and request for information, so engage the market first of all, saying we're going to come to the market with a certain framework. This is what we're looking at doing. We do pre-tender webinars, and then we have a procurement system called Jagger, which you can pre-register on. Again, doesn't guarantee you as being a supplier to the NHS. What it will do is give you access to these notices. It's also a way of keeping in touch as well, because obviously our contracts are quite big. Sometimes they're structured into lots where the contracts are broken down into specific subcategories. Currently at the moment, I think we get about, our turnover, our spend with SMEs is about 36% of our turnover. Our customer base is particular around the clinicians, the procurement teams within NHS, and really we're looking at our market's changed now. We're going into more of the social side of the healthcare as well. You know, more treatment at home, more deliveries to the home, more access to clinical specialists at home. So our sort of landscape around only delivering to trust has completely changed now. So we're more in touch with our social side of healthcare as well. Just move on, Leslie, please. So our stakeholders, yeah, I'm not going to go through all these things, but I want to point out SCCL is the sort of limited company that NHS operates through. So NHS Supply Chain is owned by SCCL, and what we've got there in terms of a process is that we have category towers, and we manage those towers. They do our procurement, so they're outsourced. And like I say, typically it's led by a customer, and then it's clinically approved by us, and then obviously we launch new frameworks. We also put out day-to-day sort of customer notices, important notices, and we support our key stakeholders to understand their spend within the business and also their savings. And then obviously, like I said before, about resilience is a big thing, because obviously we're getting disruption at the moment in supply chains, and some stock and some product is put on hold because it's limited in its availability. But so what we tend to do is look for alternatives within our product range. But obviously, that's a challenge because a lot of our customers have got product of choice. So if we try and switch a product out, then sometimes we get a challenge back. Just move on, Leslie, please. I'm not going to go through the contract cycle. That's just, you know, it takes a long time to get our frameworks to market. So if we award a contract to suppliers, we then start looking at that contract for renewal in 4 years' time. So it takes us that long to sort of renew that process. So typically our contracts will last for 4 years, and then we go through the government cycle again. Move on, please, Leslie. So this is a bit of information around how you get to know about our future contracts. So there's a generic email address. So if you want to get some information, it's suppliers@supplychain.nhs.uk. But we have on our website dedicated supplier information pages. So again, if you're interested, go onto those pages and have a look around. We also, on those pages, we have a procurement calendar as well. So it'll tell you when we intend to go to market with certain categories. We typically have the supplier webinars every month as well, which is you're welcome to attend. That just gives you an inform about what we're doing at the moment, what's coming over the horizon in terms of regulatory requirements, and also what's happening in terms of the UK, because we've moved out of the EU now. The UK's got to then bring in their own regulations and their own procurement requirements. The demand for PPE is waning now, so if you are a PPE supplier, it's very unlikely that we will be able to tender for any time soon, because we've got quite a number of stocked items and quite a number of stocked products that have got long-term availability. And obviously with sort of the pandemic sort of decline or being managed, let's call it that, there's the requirement for PP is also reduced down. Just move on, please. So yeah, I'm not going to go through these benefits. We've sort of grown our market share. Sometimes it's over 60% now, but sometimes it's 80%. We're trialing at the moment 8 fully electric trucks in our fleet. They've already done 1,000 deliveries and they've saved 16 tons of carbon emissions. We're looking at bringing online nearly triple our capacity in the northwest of England in terms of our distribution centre. That one's coming online next year. We're just in the process of renewing our contracts with our service providers as well. Like I said, we've delivered more than £1.2 billion worth of savings to trusts. So we're pleased with what we've done, but we've got loads more to do. We're seen as the single route to market at the moment for the NHS. So it's really important for us to get our activities right. Like I say, our service level is 99% deliveries on time and in full. We are always looking to bring in new innovations. We've got a new innovation team as well. So any innovation that people may want to bring to the NHS, you're quite welcome to do so. Again, that's on our website, so you can have a look there. I think that's it, Leslie. I'm not too sure there's any more, to be honest. Just, yeah, that's the end slide.